RotoWire is obsessed with 4 tight ends as we head into 2025 fantasy football drafts. We are obsessed with Jake Ferguson of the Dallas Cowboys. Jake Ferguson had a terrible year last year, 494 yards and 0 touchdowns. Not a good season. Also, Ferguson missed a few games, but remember, Dak Prescott missed more than half the season. Cooper Rush was the quarterback. That was an issue. But remember, when Jake Ferguson did play 7 games with Dak Prescott, 3 of those games had Ferguson go over 70 yards, and in 4 of those 7 games with Prescott, Ferguson had at least 11.9 PPR points. Ferguson is a major factor when Prescott is in the lineup. And remember, Dallas does not project to have a great defense this year. They have a lot of players coming back from injury. A lot of those injuries are expected to linger into the regular season. The team in Dallas it will not likely have a sustaining rushing attack. Javonte Williams, Jadon Blue, Miles Sanders, Phil Maffa, not getting anybody really excited. The offensive line should be decent, which is good for Prescott, but probably not enough to make a big difference in the run game. Look for shootouts. George Pickens is in the house, but George Pickens actually helps to open the middle of the field for Ferguson because George Pickens can get vertical. So even though Ferguson is the number 3 most likely option in the passing game, remember, Dak Prescott always loves throwing the football to his tight end. Bank on Ferguson. Another tight end we're obsessed with later in drafts, Hunter Henry of the New England Patriots. Hunter Henry had himself a good season last year. 674 yards, 99 targets, 8 games with at least 40 yards. But here was the thing with Hunter Henry. As Drake May became more acclimated to the NFL, Hunter Henry's production increased. From weeks 7 through 16, Hunter Henry averaged 5 catches for 50 yards, 7 targets, and during that span, again, about 10 weeks, averaging 10.9 PPR points. We will definitely sign up for that. Early in Henry's career, Hunter Henry did miss time. Durable lately, only missed 4 games since 2021. And in 3 of the last 4 seasons, Hunter Henry's played in 16 games. And look, Stephon Diggs, who's expected to play some slot receiver, there's a good chance he's out at least the first 4 weeks of the season, recovering from that ACL injury. Diggs is over 30. There's a chance that Hunter Henry just keeps rolling in the middle of the field. If you're enjoying this breakdown, take a second, hit like and subscribe. It helps us keep the fantasy advice coming. And if you want even more of RotoWire's tools, rankings, and insights, we've got a 15% discount just for our YouTube viewers. You head to rotowire.com, you choose your subscription, and you use the code YouTube15 at checkout. All right, if you're in a deeper league or maybe even a best ball league where you draft a 3rd tight end, take a look at Mason Taylor of the New York Jets. Mason Taylor was a 2nd-round pick in the NFL draft. But the beauty with Taylor is he is a pure pass catcher. Now he goes to the Jets, and I know you're worried. Well, it's the Jets. How much passing are they going to do? Justin Fields is the quarterback. Well, think about this. Justin Fields was with the Chicago Bears in 2023. And in 15 games, Cole Kmet had 719 yards and 6 touchdowns. What does that mean? Justin Fields can get the ball to the middle field. He can work with a good receiving tight end. And Mason Taylor has a very good chance to be the number 2 target in the passing game behind Garrett Wilson. Because, look, we have very little confidence in wide receivers like Josh Reynolds, Allen Lazard, and all the other players that litter the Jets' wide receiver depth chart. Mason Taylor has an excellent chance to have a very productive year. Now, this last player, you might chuckle when I say this, and why are we obsessed with a player everybody's obsessed with? But I'm going to give you Trey McBride, but let me explain why I'm calling him out, and I saved him for last. Trey McBride is pretty universally the 2nd tight end taken in fantasy football drafts. He should be the 1st. First of all, he's usually a half round or so cheaper than Brock Bowers. Last year, they were the same player. They were within a fraction of a point per game away from each other. But here's the deal. When each Trey McBride and Brock Bowers had their buys, week 10 and week 11, when they came out of their buy-in, teams made their adjustments. Trey McBride averaged 19 PPR points, and Brock Bowers was a little over 16. McBride was the better player when it mattered most, which was the end of the season. And Bowers played great, but Trey McBride played better. And here's the other thing with McBride. we saw from week 5 on last year, the Cardinals went to more of a 2 tight end set. They got wide receiver Greg Dortch off the field. And once the Cardinals made that move, remember, McBride was only averaging 9.4 PPR points and they were using an extra receiver. Week 5 on, 17.2 PPR per game. Trey McBride should be the tight end 1, but he's being treated as the tight end 2. Take the discount in drafts.